What's up, everyone? Give me 1 second, checking on something, and then we're gonna dive in. All right, all right, all right. What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Let's get started. How's everybody's day going? Pretty easy going day. I was working on new fishing infrastructure at work, and it wasn't so bad. It's a lot of tweaks, and I thought I was a much better Apache administrator than I actually am. So a little humility pie being served up there. Let's see here. So we're getting the lab up and running. Let's look at something real quick, because we were doing a little bit on NTLM Relay. I had some ideas. Something we might be able to do on this. We might actually be able to go through. We're going to look at it real briefly. If it doesn't work, then this would be an approach I would take like on an actual pen test. Possibly. There's other options, but nothing we have in the lab. Today was one of those days I wish it was a 3-day weekend. Yeah, I feel you, man. I actually had a really long weekend. So typically whenever we have a race day, I will just work very late on that evening, and then I'll just basically just take like less than a half day on Friday. Just check in the morning, look at a few things, and then take off and head to the races, because it can be as long as a 5-hour drive for us to get to some of the race events. So instead, decided to we did that, and traffic sucked. It did take us 5 hours to get down there, but as we were going through, it was not too bad. It was a lot of fun. But that was made for a little bit of a long weekend because I had all the camping and keeping track of the kids on Friday and Saturday. Saturday they had the race, and then they were playing like hooligans again after that. So I was really grateful for the low-key Sunday yesterday. Not bad. This is a new flavor I hadn't tried of Jocko drinks, lemon lime, which you can't see because of the green screen. That's amazing. Right there? Nope, that ain't gonna do it. Just trust me, it's green. Tastes green. Not as good as Sour Apple Sniper, but good. Alright. Let's hop on in here. Let's go ahead and get our lab booted up. Let's connect to our attack box and to Workstation 1. Those are the ones we needed to do this relaying attack. Because Workstation 1 is where Nina is connected, and she's our domain administrator. I have to give him a shot. He's a no bullshit dude, so I figured he wouldn't ship something that tastes like crap. No, he doesn't. And that was actually a really funny thing he talked about on his podcast, was when they were developing the protein shake, Mulk. He said it has to taste good. And all the people he usually works with were kind of shocked, because they're like, what do you mean it has to taste good? He's like, well, just because if it worked better, it didn't taste good, it'd be easier to stick with it if people does taste good. So they worked really hard to have a nice formulation for it. The Mulk is okay. Whey protein can be really hit or miss. I think they did a good job on that one, though. I usually stick to collagen protein, though. That's my usual go-to. Are we going to have this issue again? I've not had proper time to unband-aid my DNS at home. Let's check it here. Okay, though, it looks like we're just waiting for something. Like, this is looking for an MX record. We want a record. Alright. I'm gonna go band-aid this into the DNS real fast. Because my DNS server at home is just not doing it for some reason. So, hold on, we gotta go back into OPSEC mode. I've got some really cool ideas for UI overhauls that I want to do. I'm gonna have to find somebody to help with the graphics, though. Because it's gonna be kind of an intense overhaul. Yeah, I would love to see Jocko and Andrew. They've done a podcast together, like maybe 1 or 2 episodes, but yeah, when those guys get together, it's just a really interesting time. One sec here. I gotta go grab this. So basically what I'm doing is on my home DNS, I'm forcibly updating the DNS. Well, I'm trying to anyway. Okay, so I need to take that. Alright, there we go. Let's try this again. There we go. Alright, we're back. The beer's getting long. You trying to compete or something? No, man. I'm actually trying to keep it just somewhat neatly trimmed. And so, like, I'll check it in the morning. Like, okay, where's all the stray hairs? And I'll trim those ones. But I didn't really have a length in mind for it. I just don't really want to chop it off because, like, I worked hard to get this. It's a lot of effort to look this beautiful, you know. Dude, Handles, did you see the Cookie Monster emote? So, I'm so happy about this. The same lady that did Salty's emotes doing them for me. I've got another one though that's in processing. I guess for the animated emotes, they have to go through and I guess validate that it's not creepy or sexual in nature. I don't know. But I've got another one with Cookie Monster. I know, dude. It's so legit. And so the other one, here, I'll just show you. Give me something fast. Find it here. Settings. Where is it? Your words, emotes. It won't show up good on here. Hang on. I'll show you on Discord. Because it looks great on Discord. Let's see. Where is it? Here we go. So this is the lady who did these, and these look legit right here. Just don't. So this is the next one that I'm waiting to get approved. So it's basically the Cookie Monster virus. Well, yeah, because I've messaged you practically every day. Drop that down. So, let's see. Let's get booted up here. Get started. But by the way, did y'all hear about that? There was a new 0 day in Palo Alto. Firewalls. Palo Alto firewall 0 day. It just dropped. Let's see. Yeah. Here we go. This had to do with something with, I haven't looked at the details of it yet, but it was something in the Pan OS firewalls, and it had to do with telemetry data. Somehow in the telemetry data, so state-sponsored hackers are exploiting a new 0 day flaw in Palo Alto networks. Yeah, and I actually already talked to my Palo engineers at my office. I was like, hey guys, what do we need to do to mitigate this for now? And they'd already taken care of it. They said, there's a workaround where you disable like some of the telemetry features. And they came back and said, yeah, we'd already taken care of that. That's pretty bad though. You don't see a CVSS 10 too often these days. I mean, you do, but it's not like they drop every week. If the global gateway isn't enabled, it's all good in the hood. Okay. That almost made your weekend long. Dude, I know. And what did they drop this? They dropped this on Friday, didn't they? Well, this article's from today, but I think the bulletin went out for it on Friday. And I was like, why, for the love of all good sysadmins, would you drop this shit on Friday? At least try to drop it like on Wednesday. It's always frickin' Friday, man. I'm a big proponent of read-only Friday. So read-only Friday is no changes to production, no changes to infrastructure on Fridays. And if it's critical, it can still wait till Monday. Let's see what this is. So it's CVE 2024-3400. So here's also something. If I'm trying to find a proof of concept for this, I'll literally just Google dork it to look in GitHub. And a lot of times what you'll see that when you're checking for these particular CVE numbers, you're going to find it's people just doing bullshit, right? Oh, look, this is exploit.py. So you have to have Python D and choose option D value directly. So let's look at this, because a lot of times what you'll see is actually people doing malicious backdoor code on here. So let's see if this actually is a real legit one. Let's see. So they're exploiting the firewall. Looks like it's a legit header configuration. Or not a header configuration, but like a actual web request, an XML request. So I'm just gonna check the root CA. And so what is this value? This is the this is the definition for exploit firewall. Which is weird because oh wait, we're still in definition. Damn, fucking Python, it's white spacing. So response is post, it's gonna check it, it's gonna send that data up to it. I have no idea what you type in there, Shadow. Handles, you're a mod. You should be able to drop links. You don't got to do the elite. Let's bypass the scrapers formatting. Oh, I see. Panda, what are you attacking over there? Chill, bro. He's murdering her pet raccoon over there. This actually looks like it might be a legit exploit. So let's look at this real quick. So somehow it's supposed to get a payload value. Where's it get the payload value? Let's see. So it goes to main. Main is defined here. Please enter the payload to execute. I guess it's taking commands to run? Okay. Interesting. So they were injecting the payload into the ping command. Bravo freaking ho. Nobody ever had character concatenation before, did they? Shadow just speaks nonsense, Handles. You should have seen the weird-ass little video he sent me earlier today. It was something like some Spanish goblin twerking on a castle that turns into a rocket or some weird-ass shit. My Cobalt Strike license expires in 4 to 5 days. No. Oh, that's what you were referencing? Dude, what I felt like I had dropped acid after watching from that damn video. Oh yeah, so for y'all who don't know, let me see if there's I don't know if they post those up on the Maldev Academy or if they just post it into GitHub. Let's see. Here's the modules. I don't know if they have it up here on the website. Yeah, I know it's on Discord. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can do something real quick here. Crap, where did I have the Maldev account? There it is. It is too far down this list. You get to move up here. Alright. Yeah, so okay, it's not as long as I thought it was. Update 10, so the Maldev Academy reason it's so cool is because they will do updates pretty frequently. So update 10 they just released, it's patchless, threadless injection using hardware breakpoints. Pretty badass. How to tamper syscalls, exploiting EDRs for evasion, so basically preventing them from taking action. So finding exploits in the EDRs. And exploiting EDRs for evasion. So basically EDR lol bins. And if you don't know, lol bins are living off the land binaries. That's what that is. So you're using system native tools to do, malicious hood rat stuff on these machines. Let's see. You know what? I just realized we don't have a connection over to. Actually, we don't need it though. What we need is. We need actually workstation 2. I should have booted it up also, because that was our attacking box. That was our pivot point. Let's remove all these. Get rid of the stale sessions from last night. Does it show it on new modules? Let's see. Ah, here we go. Yeah, buddy. This is sexy stuff. Oh, I didn't see they added the binary metadata modification. That's cool. I should mess with that a bit because it's not too hard and I'm a scrub. So NT query sysinfo, custom win APIs, exploiting EDRs for evasion, and introduction to MASM assembly. What is MASM assembly? Oh wait, this was update 1. They got it listed by updates. So you can see this is, so I've been on Maldev for quite a while. I just haven't got to devote a ton of time to it. I'm still in like the beginner modules personally. So you look at all these and look at all the shit they have added over time. They're doing like a new module drop like basically every 2 months. And then bam. Actually more frequently than every 2 months because they've done these last 10 updates in 11 updates coming. They've done these like in the past probably year, I think. Nice handles. You surpassed me then, man, because I got bogged down with other stuff and decided to pivot back into RTO. And so I do eventually want to go back into the Maldev Academy. I may hit this up after I finish RTO 2. So after we go through the RTO 2 catalog, we might hit this up. There's another one I was looking at. What is it called? I think it's Ret System. Let's see. Trainings. Let's see if this is it. No, this is not the one I was looking for. Ret to training. Let's see. Here we go. The Ret 2 War Games. So this is, it's an exploitation course that's kind of based off of their open source Deus 64 game. And so you could go through this and work on it if you want to learn it without it. They had charged for this, and I think it was like $1,200. There you go. So 3 months of access, $1,200. So $400 a month. So this would probably, if you're still starting your cybersecurity career, probably fall more firmly into, hey, this is what I want the company to pay for. If you're well established, you're pulling down a good salary, your finances are all sorted out, $1,300 is not terrible. I'm trying to get good with C using John Ryder's webcast about C. Yeah. I still need to get gooder at C. I know just enough to be dangerous. Let's go ahead. Let's spawn up our basic tasks here. And then also... Is there anything? Nah, that's pretty much the only ones we needed there. So let's do something though. Let's go pull up the code for NTLM Relay X. And let's go see how it's doing something. So you have a couple options with NTLM Relay X. You can try to have it auto execute a command once it gets that session up. You can also tell it to, if you don't specify anything, it'll just try to dump hashes off the machine. And lastly, if you specify some kind of interactive session, it'll drop you into either like LDAP or an SMB client. So what I'm thinking about is we can get into this system. Oh wait, we gotta actually connect to it. Let's go take a look and see how it's doing the SMB client connection. Because then if we set up the relay, what we could do is have it, we can maybe swap in something else like WMI exec instead of SMB client, because we know WMI exec works. So let's see if that works. Let's see what we can do with that. I know just enough to print the console. Yeah. I understand a good chunk of C, but understanding the build patterns are something I'm not intimately familiar with. So knowing like, okay, hey, where do you want to use the pointer, where not? I'm used to more object-oriented programming by a long shot. Load this up. All right, so let's do which NTLM Relay X. Right, let's take a look at that. I tell you, let's actually do something quick. Let's copy that to our home directory. I guess I actually do need to give it the path. So user local bin, and then NTLM Relay X. Copy that here, and then we just work on this local copy so we don't pollute this system copy. All right, so let's see if SMB client. Here we go. So if we specify the interactive argument, launches an SMB client or LDAP console instead of executing a command after a successful relay. This console will listen locally on a TCP port and can be reached with netcat. Okay, cool. I know enough to evade. Evade and do, shady shit. All right, let's see where this is being used. This parser add argument. Okay, so then it's going to come here. Is SMB client used anywhere else? Okay, it's not. So we got this parser add argument. I want to see where that's going. So it's adding an I argument. We have server options. Do we have like interactive listed anywhere else? Okay, so we've got something here where it says set options interactive. So start servers. So it's going to spin up all the servers. And what is this C function it's calling? So it's calling C equals NTLM Relay X config. Okay, so it's building the config in the C variable. And then it sets another couple things, sets the mode. If server is HTML relay server, checks for S&B server, returns the server. Okay. So let's look at the main function down here. So in the main function is where it does all the parsing. So after we get all the stuff parsed out, what are we looking at here? All right, cool. So it's going to do parse options. So we can set it to debug also register protocol clients. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but if we could do a simple sleight of hand in the code to take WMI exec and put it in the place of PS exec, then that would be killer, because then this technique would work. The hard part is just knowing where it's actually being called, because this is really densely written code. So if option socks, okay. So this is store, but what is this variable going to be added as? Add argument. I need to see what that's actually doing. Let's do. So I'm not intimately familiar with that. Add argument. That's a positional argument. Options that takes a value. Okay, so if we can build this out, blow this up a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to read for y'all. So this I get. I just don't get, is it storing it like in parser C? If we print this, what are we going to get? Okay, so this would be file name. This is going to be count. This is going to be verbose. I wonder why that is. Okay, if that's the case, back over to our code. So this is storing it as interactive. Okay, so C set interactive. Let's look for that. So let's drop down to the bottom here. So servers are starting and waiting for connection. So has options for if it's a SOCKS proxy, checks for keyboard interrupts. Let's see. So that's if you set it to SOCKS. Hack the planet! That's one of my next things to get is the hack the planet, alert that'll come up on the stream. Let's see. Although I've really been working on building up the Discord, so usually I'll work on some kind of stuff after the stream's over to wind down. And that's one of the things I've been working on next is trying. So you'll see a lot of like half-finished under construction shit on the Discord. I'm working on it. Tell you what, let's do something else here. This is it's a bit of a pain to read this in. Here, but we should be able to get an idea by looking at the code here, just in looking at it in GitHub. There we go. So options interactive gets set to this value here. which function are we in? We're in start servers. And so this is for what relay service it's doing. Can I collapse that? No, you're not gonna let me collapse that? You suck. Okay, so C is gonna get returned out to something. Let's go check the main option here. Let's see. So this comes in whenever we do the start server. LDAP options, ADCS options, okay. So it takes options. Okay, so all the parsed out things get stored into options. Let's see, so we had add DNS record, codec, target, multi-relay option, add computer, no SMB server, okay. So it's basically looking at what systems not to run, what services. If option SOCKS, here's how it runs the SOCKS proxy. All right, cool. So that's when it's going to start all these. But I don't see where the interactive comes into this. So it'd have to be up in that function. Scroll up here. So this C is right here, NTLM Relay X config. This is imported. Let's see, can we go to like the definition? I know it's in here. Maybe it's not in examples. Maybe it's in examples. Let's see. Let's find, because we want to find that config script in here. Wait, hold on. I just realized something. It's been a while since I had to deep dive into Python like this. Let's see. Ah, there we go. So from in-packet examples, utils config, NTLM Relay X config. Okay, so it is in examples. So let's open that in a new tab. Let's go check this out. We have in... Is it utils? Is that what this is? Let's see if we can go to it. Sometimes... I wanted to be able to go to it. So this is in-packet examples into the Relay. Let's go back to... We're going to... Actually, I take that back. We need to go, I think, here. In-packet. There we go. Examples, NTLM Relay X. Clients? What was it? Utils in the config. Here we go. So we're going to need to use this and then big pi. And do we have a setting for interactive in here? So we do have a set interactive option in here. By the way, that's all we've got in here. Let me see. Because what's it going to do? Because what should happen is it should spin up like something to be able to work on this, right? Maybe it's not in the utils. Let's see. So there's target utils, enum, pi. What other libraries are we using over here? Let's see. So we bring in logger, server, the config, the target utils. Maybe it's in target utils? Oh no, so this is just, it looks like this is a library for parsing the target value that we specify for it. Let's see. Do we have parse listening ports also? Actually, let's go look at that again. Let's go back over to utils and then big. Parse listening ports. Okay, so it takes in a value, splits it by commas. Yeah, what are we using that for? Oh, so here's also the mini shell. So this is the interactive prompt we were getting when running the SOX proxy. The prompt is API, does API address. So where does mini shell actually get set? 501. That's only, and so the mini shell is only set if it's option SOX. So what should happen as we were reading through it, right? It should launches SMB client, LDAP, or SQL shell. Oh, in this case, it's SQL shell also, because this is the newer version of NTLM Relay X. This console will listen locally on a TCP port, which can be reached with Netcat, for example. Hey, Inzu. So last night, we ran into an interesting issue. We were doing relaying over a C2 channel. Let me see if I can bring up the diagram here. So here's what we were doing. We've got an attack box here. And if we've got a session on, let's say... Actually, no, this is not the correct diagram. Hang on. Here we go. This is what we did. So just explaining basic NTLM relaying, we were capturing it, relaying. This is how the NTLM authentication works. You send a request, the server sends a salt back, and then the user sends back the salt plus their NTLM. That's that net NTLM or NTLM v2 hash that comes back to it. So what we can do is, if we intercept that, we can collect the salt from the server, pass it back to the PC, and then be able to build a session as them and basically impersonate them. So we did a little bit differently in here, where we had this going over a command and control setup. So we had a couple things happening here. We broke SMB on the C2 box, the one that had the beacon, so that way we could start intercepting traffic on 445. Then we had that traffic coming back into our local team server, and once that got brought back, NTLM Relay X would then use proxy chains and a SOX proxy to zip it back into the target network. So essentially what we were doing is we were intercepting a computer called Workstation 1, trying to get it over into the domain controller, because Workstation 1 is run by a domain admin. The issue came up, though. The attack worked, all the routing happened, but the domain controller's Windows Defender flagged PSExec. However, we know WMIExec works. So we're trying to look real quick and say, can we slot in this interactive mode? Can we have it do WMIExec instead of SMB client? Right here, because interactive mode will spin up this SMB client. We want to see if we could swap that out, because WMIExec does work. When we were doing some Kerberos shenanigans last week, I think, WMIExec did work, PSExec didn't work. PSExec got flagged, WMIExec went through no problem. So we're just trying to see if we can find out where this is being done. Oh, Handles, you're sitting for your OSCP next month? Nice, man. I have faith in you. I think you're going to nail it. The mistake I made the first time through the OSCP, and the second time through, actually. So I took it back in 2010 when it was a very new course, right? And it was still pen testing with Backtrack. I took it, I went through all the material and I learned a lot, and I didn't spend as much time in the lab because I didn't understand kind of what the flow was supposed to have been. So I never really felt comfortable. I'd never sat for the exam after I took it. I sat on that knowledge for a long time and it served me very well. But fast forward to 2018, I've been working as a penetration tester. I wanted to go ahead and finish that OSCP. So I started it, I nailed it, took the exam, and bombed the first attempt going through because I did too much scanning. And that might sound kind of counterintuitive, but what happened is all the data came out and I got hit with analysis paralysis. And then I went into something called the death spiral, which is you just keep doing the same thing over and over again without basically re-examining what's taking place. So the second time through, the second time I sat for the exam, I did probably about 20% of the scanning. It was much more surgical, and I finished that thing so damn fast. So here's the kicker with that, Enzu. The way we're running this is, and you're correct, but there's a caveat to this. So in this lab is the Red Team Operator course from Zero Point Security, and it's a completely isolated lab, and Impacket is slightly outdated in it, and I'm not even sure if this would work with the new version of Impacket. But what happened here is we had to run that with proxy chains. Basically, proxy chains is a little bit too much for Sharp Hammer, and we're using a slightly older version of proxy chains. It doesn't understand how to do like the local net bypassing. So all the traffic, when we try to like connect to it, it tries to get routed the wrong way. So that was the issue, because we were using the reverse port forward to capture the stuff on 445. So NTLM Relay X could actually catch those authentication attempts to relay them. But then basically proxy chains was forcing the relay outbound through the SOX proxy back into the target environment. So yeah, we tried that. It didn't go hot. Basically, the routing is a little bit too funky in how this has to work. So that's what we're kind of taking a look here. You know what? Actually, let's do something real quick here. Let's duplicate this tab. Let's go look at PSExec actually and see how it does it and see what it's calling. Because once we understand where PSExec is functioning, we can probably look for the same function calls over in NTLM Relay X. So that way we can swap them out. Let's see. So there's the remote comms it's using. Actually, let's see what libraries it's importing here. Actually, I take this back. We don't want to use NTLM X. We want to use SMB client. And the reason for that is because that's what it's going to use in interactive. That's what we want to swap out. I thought we had SMB. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Right in front of me. So SMB client is cool, but it doesn't have any command execution ability. It's only interacting with basically what's shared on the machine and its disk. Let's see here. Let's just hop down to the main function. All right, so main. Oh, it's the whole damn thing's the main function. Good to know. All right. So we're parsing arguments. It does the options. And then from options, checks if there's debugging. So it's going to parse the target out. Check for hashes. Here we go. So SMB client is going to be SMB connection right here. But I didn't see SMB connection being called over here. Yeah. So SMB connection doesn't get called. What we might have to do is actually go take a look at the servers as they come up. So in Impacket, let's come back over to NTLM Relay X servers. Let's look at the SMB relay server. So there's nothing about interactive in here. So what else could we do with this? I don't want to make this an entire coding stream, so we're only going to mess with this for a few more minutes, and then we're going to head out. We're going to start working on something different. Because actually, there's another thing in the relaying stuff that I want to go over, which is relaying web dev. Let's see here. We have SMB client mentioned in here. Here we go. Okay, so we got a negotiate message from a client. Let's send back the target server and a way to get an answer. So our client is our SMB token. So we get the security challenge token. Show more. We want, this is what we want, SMB client. But no, we do want client in this context though, because client's gonna be the variable that's stored. So this is the encryption key, sets connection data, connects to it, logs errors, collects the challenge message, okay? Authenticate message. Here we deal with authentication. So now we have an auth token. Let's send it back to the target system and hope for the best. We've actually read the comments inside of Impacket. Cool. So this gets fired back. So this is this phase of the process here. That's this phase right here. So it's got it, and then it's now sending the salted connection back up. Let's see. That's doing more checks. Oh, so this is just a different message flow depending on some of the flags set in the SMB conversation as they come back and forth. It says, let's return to what the target returned. Hope the client connects back again. Okay. Let's see. So where's it going to give us? Do we have any returns in here? So we have return SMB2 error, return response packet. So let's try something real quick. Let's set up the relay. And we're going to set it up with debugging. Let's do that. So we need to do a couple of things real fast. So let's go get our new session set up here. All right, so here's Bee Farmer. First thing we need to do is set this to interactive. And then we want to connect to our local loopback to get our elevated session also. So we're going to get our system shell, and then we're going to set up all the port forwards because we need to be an administrator to do that. Bob actually is an administrator. We just don't have a high integrity process for Bob. Let's do this. Yeah, there we go. This is the two that we're working on. Let's go. Yeah, so we need to set up our port forward of, crap, what's the syntax? Just the bind port. Okay, so we need to tell it what port to bind on. So the bind port is going to be 445, and the bind port, yeah, what is it going to be? 8445? I'm trying to remember exactly how we set this up. Yeah, that's it. So we want 8445 on the attack box on our beacon to then forward to 445 on our team server. So we're going to run that. Oh, we have to give it the forward host also, which should be just like 127001. Yeah. So we'll just tell this, we'll call this localhost. And then now we want to do is we'll use port vendor. Oh no, we gotta load it. We'll come over to the script manager. Oh, do we have port vendor? Okay. We need a SOCKS proxy, but then we also need the port vendor. Let's run that. So we're gonna do this on SOCKS like 1080. So now we've got so we have a port to come back to us with the reverse port forward, and we got a simple way to infill data using the SOCKS proxy. And let's take a look at this real quick. What was that command? There we go. Oh, it's capital P, that's why. I knew I had it right. So we're going to redirect 445 to 8445. So what's going to happen is port vendor is going to be a system level driver, and anything that comes in on 445, all the SMB stuff, gets kicked over to 8445. That then goes over our reverse port forward onto our attack box where NTLM Relay X can catch it and then use proxy chains to zip it back into the network. We're on a 64-bit, aren't we? Let's check something quick. CD to Windows. Let's check and make sure we put it in the correct spot. We're going to do System 32 drivers. Yeah, we see WinDivert 32 and 64. Is there like an RM command? Yeah, there we go. Don't you just have to delete stuff off of this? Okay. I want to delete this file out because we don't need the 32-bit version because we're running everything on 64-bit. There we go. All right, let's try this again. So we're going to redirect 445 to 8445. There we go. I think it was hitting the 32-bit one first, and in theory that should work because we're calling it 32-bit from a 64-bit process. You can do that. If it was the other way around, we were trying to call the 64-bit from a 32, it wouldn't work. So we'll just kick that out of there. Okay, cool. So now let's do proxy chains, NTLM. Ah, crap. We gotta actually go back and retype all this shit out. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do. Oh, actually, I know why it's not working because we need to do sudo proxy chains. There we go. So this is our target. This is our domain controller. We don't want a web or anything other server. We just want SMB2. And we're going to take out the SOCKS log. We're going to specify that with a debug. So I want to see what exactly is happening. And let's also check our proxy chains config. Make sure we had that correct before we ran it. All right, cool. So yeah, we're still using 1080. Perfect. So we're gonna let that go. So waiting for connections. Let's see let's just see what happens. Let's go over to workstation 1. Is this workstation 1? That's workstation 2. Yes, I want this one. So we're just gonna trigger this real fast using using a PowerShell or a command CMD. Because as soon as we try to LS the stuff that's on the the attacking beacon, it'll try to do an NTLM authentication, then we can relay that. In fact, it might still have it from yesterday. There we go. So I'm just telling it to LS against workstation 2. That's our attacking box. And if we come back over here, we see this is forwarding. Oh, here we go. So started interactive SMB client shell via TCP 11,000. So let's come over to, let's netcat over to that. So netcat to 11,000. Shares, is that the command? Okay, cool. So our SMB client is working perfectly. Nice. All right. Gonna exit out of this. I did not mean to do that. Poor guy. Let's see. So we want to look for this particular message here. Started interactive SMB client. See if we can find that real fast. You are killing me. I know it's here in your code. You little bastards. Hey, Glory, how's it going, man? Welcome, welcome. We are trying to tinker with Impacket to get it to play nicely with some other tools and restrictions we've got. Ever tried ZFS over iSCSI? I have not personally. I hear ZFS is pretty cool, but I don't have any iSCSI stuff. So I usually just stick to Ethernet. Hey, Wheat, that might be more in your wheelhouse. You ever mess with ZFS and iSCSI? Is it bad that I've been defaulting to using 6969 for any reverse shell port? Nice. Yeah, just be cognizant of what you have to put in your report whenever you write that. That's right. Give me 1 second, y'all. I left my water in the other room. I'm gonna go grab it real fast. Be right back.
User Ozolak is online.
My back. Surprise! Yeah, unless you have a really legit use case for iSCSI, it's probably not warranted. I agree, Nefton. Dude, there's nothing wrong with trying to save time, Glory, because that's all we've got sometimes is time. We got to spend that. That's a precious commodity. iSCSI was really cool back in the day but then Ethernet just kept advancing now. You got to think, you getting 10 gig Ethernet over copper, Cat 6? I mean, I don't know where iSCSI compares to that. Let's look real quick, actually. iSCSI versus Cat 6. I mean, you can still use iSCSI. That's right. Okay. I was thinking iSCSI was the... I don't know what I was thinking. No, iSCSI is a storage area network protocol over Ethernet. So you could do it. I don't know what the benefits are of using it, though. So, I mean, you could do it. I'd say unless you've got... I'm trying to think. What would be the... I think you'd only probably need iSCSI if you need block level read and writes from that SAN. If you're just doing it at the file level, I would pick an easier protocol, like even just SMB. I think that was, if I remember correctly, that was the main benefit to any of those storage area networks like iSCSI is that you can then have block level reading and writing of files. Oh, good old fiber channel. Let's see here. Well, okay, let's double check something here. All right, so what did we get here? So we got the relay to come back. It then went up proxy chains. So authenticating against this host as succeeded. Okay, that's a freaking static string message. Why is this not showing up in the code? Oh, you gotta, oh my god. You gotta sign in to search on GitHub? You chodes. I don't want to sign in. SMB is Microsoft. Yeah, I know. If you don't care about security, use NFS, yeah. It's got to be in the log here somewhere. I didn't plan to spend this much time on this, but this is pissing me off. I know this shit should work. Impact it, examples, NTLM Relay X. It's a bit of attacks. DC sync, SMB attack. From impact it, import walk. Okay. Here we go. Finally, started interactive SMB client. Thank you. If self TCP shell is none, okay. All right, so where's run get call here? All right, so who imports SMB attack? Is that getting imported in here? And two, I don't know why that was getting filtered out. It used to let me, like, I'm assuming you posted a link. It used to let me, like, verify it real quick and then let you post it. That sign into search code absolutely cucked me in the Sans Net Wars a few years ago. Yeah, it's pretty craptacular. GitHub is still pretty good, but yeah, some of that stuff like, hey, sign in to search the code, it's like, get bent. I can guess why though. They want somebody, if you're going to be in there searching code, you want to make sure they're authenticated, because it's going to be a hurdle for somebody trying to scrape GitHub to build any kind of large language model that could compete with Copilot. Yeah, I didn't even mean that to be a pun. Get bent. So this is class SMB attack. So do we see SMB attack referenced over here? Damn it. All right, so SMB attack isn't referenced actually in NTLM Relay X. It's got to be referenced in the server. So let's look at the SMB server. Killing me, Smalls. What's it called? I don't know, let's just look at the import statements real fast. So we're importing a bunch of standard stuff. Okay, from Impacket. I would like to see where the hell the attacks are getting imported from. So we got the SMB3 structs, the SMB server here. So we're importing this right here. Server is SMB server, then C listening ports option SMB port. So then we're having a relay servers where it appends this to it. After this gets initialized, where is it? So we import it, but where the hell is it defined? Killing me, Smalls. So here in the initialization, it doesn't. This is purely a library. There's no main function in here. So I need to know which one is importing this SMB attack. I bet it's this init py, isn't it? You're importing it, aren't you? So that was just a pass. Self do attack client. Okay, where's do attack defined as? Note that unlike the HTTP server, the config entries are stored in the current object and not in any of its properties. Check if SOX is enabled and if we support the target scheme. If SOX is not enabled and or not supported for the scheme, fall back to the classic attacks. Okay. So this isn't importing the attacks either. So who the hell is actually which code is actually running the attacks? That's the pain in the ass part here. That's the kick in the bites. Oh, it must be this SMB Relay client. Let's see. Really? This one's not using the SMB attack? This is only defined in a few spots here. It's gonna piss me off. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go into OPSEC mode real fast. Oh my sweet Jesus, the sign-up process for GitHub has gotten 1,000 times more annoying. I was just going to sign up for a separate account that wasn't my personal one, but fuck you very much, Microsoft. Let's look at something, actually. We might be... Oh, shit. Close the damn tab. We might be thinking about this too hard. And here's what I mean. Here's a cool trick if y'all didn't know this about WSL. So we have Impacket on our Ubuntu WSL in here. It's already configured. So something cool that we could do is this. It will actually allow us to pass commands back into the Windows kernel. So if I look at my present working directory, here I am. Let's do NTLM Relay X. Let's find that. And so let's cd into user local bin. And then I can actually run explorer.exe on this spot. And it will open it in Windows Explorer. Oh. Hey, Pale. Oh, because, so we have an idea. So if you recall from last night, we couldn't get psexec to work for the NTLM relay portion. I wanted to try and see if I could modify Impacket's code to slot in wmyexec. However, when you're looking at this shit in a logged out GitHub session, you can't search the code base. You can only search issues and pull requests. So then I was like, okay, well, let me just I'm going to go sign up for a non-personal one, a Blaze Bits GitHub. And the GitHub process to sign up is like some co-pilot led thing. And I was just like, F you, I'm not doing that right now. Fuck you very much, Microsoft. That's the Pi cache. Do something. LA. This isn't the actual file though, right? This points to something, doesn't it? Yeah, it is actually it. Oh, you suck. Let's vend this. I want to see where the imports are coming from. So it still says importing Impacket, but where the hell is the Impacket library installed? Fucking Python dependencies. Dude, chatbot life infuriates me. Everything's a damn chatbot. Everything's a large language model now. And I don't think we're better off for it. It's like, sometimes I just need a damn KB article. I don't need a chatbot that I can interact with and check and say, hey, by the way, what's this configuration thing do? I just want to be able to fucking search for it and say, what does this config value do? And have Google actually return something useful. Their search results have been absolutely ass lately. I want to see where this is imported. Let's see. Go to where are Python dependencies kept? User local lib Python. Okay. Let's split this real quick. Wait, did I read that right? User local lib. That's why we go lib instead of bin. Do we have an Impacket in here? Let's see. This color scheme has got to be atrocious to read. Do we do? Okay. Let's CD over to Impacket. Dear God, this is far too complicated for what it needed to be. Thank you for making this more difficult. Frickin' Microsoft. The offshore marketing team insisted that I support and IT move their ticketing to HubSpot. I refused. If they're basically asking you to train your replacements, I think you're well within your right to tell them to F off. I think it's grep tac R. And let's tell it also case insensitive. Search for SMB from everything here. Actually, I take that back. What was the damn output that we saw here? No problem, Bill. Take it, dude. Do what you gotta do, man. There we go. I want to see what fucking file is generating this. Got me so mad. I'm cussing. I'm cussing handles. There we go. So it is an SMB attack. Awesome. So now who is What's our present work? We got our attack team. So who's going to import? So we're going to search for imports. We're going to grab all the import statements. And then we're going to check it again to see who's importing SMB attack. Not what I exactly wanted. Because I know SMB attack's in there, bastard. That's the C Python. That's the compiled version. Don't care about that. What I want to know is who is importing the attacks. Here we go. So we want to look for this line right here. Import examples NTLM Relay X attacks. That's what we want to grep. So we're going to grep out this. If more would actually give us the coloring on it so we can see more clearly. Of course not. There's something else we could do. Do the same trick in here. Open this in Explorer, and then we can open it in Visual Studio Code. New window. In this new window, we're going to open this path here. Let's go grab that. Here's hoping we have the Python stuff installed. The only downside to being in an isolated lab like this. All right, so let's do. We want to go to attacks, SB attack. So who is importing attacks? That. Import in packet attacks. I think it's maybe in packet examples. What was it? Yeah, exactly. In the NTLM. Oh, that's right, because it's NTLM Relay X attacks. This is importing the protocol attack. Okay. Because I need to know who is actually bringing in this SMB attack here. And match the case on it. this is one of those instances where modular code really fucking sucks. Let's go look at the servers. Let's look at those again, since we have a little bit easier place where we can examine this. Look at the SMB server. So what do we import in this? We import the utils and the target utils. We also import the SMB server. I don't want to add a new file. Open. Where's it to add a file to the workspace here? Killing me. Let's just see if anybody's importing all of NTLM Relay X. Let's check that. Here you go. So SMB attack actually imports that. But it only imports the protocol attack. Wherever the hell protocol attack is. Yeah, we don't have the cool Python tools listed in here. Oh, here we go. Damn it, I thought I looked at this. So they're in the init function for attacks is where it defines it. So it imports threading, imports logs, so protocol attacks. Multiple classes. I don't see this actually manually importing anything else into it, so like I don't see any references to SMB in here. This will be matched later when the relay targets. Okay. So this is a base class for protocol attacks for different protocols. All right. So what we're going to need is, let's see who's actually using protocol attack. Okay, so the SMB attack protocol is a wrapper around the protocol attack. That's what we're seeing here. So if so they're right here, TCP shell. Okay. Now where's TCP shell defined? It's been here somewhere. All right, getting somewhere. Fucking yes. All right, so TCP shell here. So it picks a random port, I believe. Let's see. Anyway, it's going to pick some port. Actually, no, this is just setting it up. So this is initializing the TCP shell. So if interactive itself, otherwise TCP shell becomes none. Okay. So is this referenced anywhere else in the script? Let's see. Click this out. Oh, here we go. So TCP shell gets crafted, but it doesn't get to this. So this is the mini in package shell self underscore SMB connection. Self shell command loop. So where's this command loop coming? Oh, so this comes in command loop right here. Okay. Start listening and launch the interactive shell. Okay. So it's passing in the TCP shell, which is going to be basically the file that's going to act as our TCP connection. And then we're also using this SMB client here. So let's do something here real quick. Python print call stack. So we need the traceback library to do that. I don't know if I have traceback though. I have to double check. Let's see how we might want to approach this. I don't even know if we have traceback. So an easy way to check is we just run our Python interpreter. We can try to import it. Okay, cool. So we're going to have traceback in here. So we can hack in a little bit of thing to get the call stack. And then we should see kind of what the flow is, how this is being dumped in here. So let's do that. That, and then let's go throw that into here. So let's bring back up. Something has happened here to my formatting. There we go. My window was going off the screen here. So where do we want to stick this? That's what she said. We want to put this right where that TCP shell comes in at. Launch locally listening interactive shell. All right. And so we're gonna have to come and import traceback at the top. Damn it. Let's see if this will work. Ah, crap. Oh, you know what we need to do? We actually need to make this update on the team server anyway. So let's go do that. What was that path we had here? It was user local lib. That's what it was. Let's cd into user local lib Python 3 dist packages. And here we should have impacket. Yep, so cd over to impacket. And the thing we need to edit from impacket is attacks SMB attack. Where did we put that? Put that on. We put that on line 44. That's where we want to put that. Let's go modify that. Sudo vim AX attacks. What was it? SMB attack. Awesome. And we want to jump down to line 44 to drop this. So actually, we want to drop it right here. Damn it, it copied the whole thing. There we go. And then now we need to go back to the top and we got to import traceback. All right, so now let's see if we can find our command again. We did a lot here. All right, sweet. So now hopefully we're going to get a stack trace. We'll be able to actually see where the hell it's getting called from. So it's doing SMB client instead. Awesome. Sweet. So now we're going to have an actual call stack, and hopefully we can decipher this out. Take this over into okay, so attack pi from traceback, got it. So then it's going to be run there from the server, SMB relay server, SMB relay server, SMB server, SMB server, socket server. Awesome. All right, so let's start working backwards in this. So where did it get called from? Here we go. Let's check something real fast here. Here we go. So this is mini and packet shell. What's this mini impact shell here? Killing me, Smalls. I can't believe that's the only thing here. So this is importing from SMB client the mini impact shell here. So let's go over to the SMB client. Let's look at that. It's in the SMB client. What the hell? Mini impact shell from examples SMB client. Oh wait, it's actually going to be coming from examples itself. That's why. Let's add a file to the workspace. Insert local bin. This. So adding local bin to this will then let us see where these things come, because these are actually over in a different folder. Just the repositories for it to import those whenever Python runs a little bit different. Let's go pull up the SMB client. There. SMB client, nice. So where the hell's mini impact shell coming from? We gotta figure out where that's defined. I think this might be the issue here. Yeah, that's the problem. What we need to do is actually kick this out. Remove that folder from the workspace. Then add a new folder to the workspace. We need to go higher up in there is what we need. So let's bring this up. We're going to go user local lib Python 3 distribution packages impact it. And that's what we actually want to add. Is the actual impact one itself. So trust the authors of this folder. There we are. This is what we wanted. Yeah, go away, Defender. I don't care about you. Alright, so now where the hell is this mini shell thing? Oh, I see what this is doing. Got it. Okay. This is literally formatting it to do it. So we can't just fucking slot in wmy_exec like we wanted because of the way... Because this code is so damn modular. It's not just saying, hey, call SMB. It's prepping it, and then it's formatting it to send it to just the SMB client. All right. Let's see. Can't get the SOX proxy listening properly. Someone was asking earlier what happens. Essentially, because proxy chains is too damn good, whenever it tries to to us for to connect to the SOX proxy and in packet tries to reply, it sends it over proxy chains into the attack network. So it basically just goes into the bit bucket. That's what we were running into. I put that on my to-do list, is actually add like a WMI option here for some relay credentials. So I've been wanting to do some tinkering with InPacket. All right. Well, good to know. We got more familiar with the internals of InPacket. And it's a cool tool, but holy crap, is it... debugging it in this way is a pain in the ass. If I had a proper IDE, this would have been different. All right. I tell you what, let's close this out. We're not going to worry about this. Don't save anything. Save nothing. Let's close this out. Let's actually go back and take out that code we just put in there because we're not going to need it. And take this out. So we don't need it. All right, cool. So there's one more thing I wanted to go over tonight, and that's relaying WebDAV. So this is the WebDAV is a distributed stands for distributed authoring and versioning. It's an extension for basic file operations on things, and it mostly runs over like an HTTP type protocol, if I remember right. It has certain operations like you can create, copy, move, delete. What are you doing, Panda? What? It's not bedtime. Chill out. Chill out. Such a spaz. For anybody who hasn't seen this, is Panda. She is a constant, just vying for attention, grab ass and jumping on me. We do. You already got a treat today. You know that, right? You got 2 big ass pork bones. You should be content. No, gotta have pets. See something here. Alright, can I put you down now? Yeah. Let's look at something here real quick. So one of the cool things about this WebDAV thing, though, let's take a look at something real fast in our beacon. If we do a run service query, SCQC, there's a one running on this machine called the web client. There we go. So this is a local service running. And if we take a look at that, yeah, that's what we want. So, I think it's not too many things use WebDAV like they used to, but SharePoint, like on-prem SharePoint, uses the shit out of WebDAV. So WebDAV, if you can get it to connect to a controlled target, then you can relay it. So, and then you'd be relaying, I believe, as, I don't know which user you'd be relaying it as. Part of me wants to say the machine account, but it could also be whoever is initiating the WebDAV. Not sure. So there's something else we can do. We haven't done this before in the beacons, but there's another thing, kind of like execute assembly, where we can send a C# payload up there. We can also do an inline execute of an object file. I'm not a big Confluence fan either, but I also don't have any love for SharePoint. SharePoint's what we use at work, and my first question, actually, so quick backstory. My company split from our parent company, became its own separate entity, and as soon as I found out about this, my very first question to the guy who's going to be the CEO of my current company was, hey man, can we switch back to Slack? Slack is the shit. I love Slack. But we're all complete Microsoft shop. Hate it. Developer for Teams kicked in the nuts. Let's see. So let's do something. Let's do an inline execute. We need to give this. Yeah, so this will run a beacon object file in this beacon session. Awesome. So we just got to give it the path to it. So there's a cool tool called Get Web Dev Status, and it will basically give us some lay of the land in here. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to just run this beacon object file. And I think then we just have to give it what... Actually, let's just run it. I don't know if it needs any arguments. Okay, so we got to tell it what to hit. So we're going to tell it WKSTN1 and 2. So what this is going to do is it's going to query the name pipe to see who's got WebDAV open and listening. Extremely big. I like that name. Slack was just a much simpler. It had a pretty feature-rich interface. It had a great way of like interacting with other tools. It was more like a chat application that had things built on top of it. Teams is more like SharePoint that had chat bolted onto the side of it. And though I just hate Teams. Everything is like, hey, you can do everything in Teams. Like, I don't fucking want to. I want you to do one thing. Carry my text messages and GIFs to my team and then back. So the main thing I like about SharePoint now is that at least merge the groups and files from the most everything else. But as soon as the normal users is let loose, it all blossoms into a pile of trash. Dude, you're not even joking. And SharePoint becomes so disorganized so fast, it's nuts. Yeah. And that was primarily what my team... We used it for a lot of stuff. It had a lot of the same collaborative tools that are in Teams. And they worked, in my opinion, better. Now, granted, this was 5 years ago. I don't know if Slack has changed in the downhill way since then, but I don't think so. Oh, you know what we need to do? We need to unport bend this. Look at so we got the web client services running on Workstation 1, but since it's not running Workstation 2, we just ran it. We know that. It's because it's trying to query 445, and we don't have 445 open technically. So we need to unport bend it. I guess we just change it to like redirect 445 to 445. I don't know how to get it to unport bend. Yeah, 10 seconds to get the hell out of my house. Yeah, exactly. This is either to redirect, but I don't want to redirect. I want to unredirect. I mean, that's very cool, but how do we tell it to, no. Stop. So arg0 redirect or arg0 backdoor? Well, that's annoying. Well, we could actually go through and we could do the coercion against it. We just don't want to this. So actually, we're on workstation 2. What we want to do is target workstation 1. Workstation 2 was our initial foothold in the environment. So this is like where we kind of, after we do an attack path, we draw back to workstation 2 and we start taking other paths. So let's do this. I don't think we need 445 open for this, but what we can do is we can kind of leave the configuration in place as it is. Let's pull up our impact stuff here again. So let's CD out of this. Let's exit out of this. Clean up our console a bit. And then let's do this. So what we're going to do is instead of doing an S&B relay, let's do an LDAP. Let's try that. So we can target LDAP. In fact, we'll do the secure LDAP. And what we want to do here is let's delete out all this stuff. So we want to tell it to, we want to delegate access. So what this will do is it'll do the, I think the shadow credentials to do that. Oh wait, I actually needed that SMB2 support option in here. Let's do NTLM Relay X. Yeah, so delegate access on a relayed computer account to the specified account. There we go. So we're going to delegate access to workstation 2 to a different account. So let's go ahead and run. So let's prepare our attack. We want delegate access SMB2. Oh, we need to give it what the HTTP port is.
User Sergio is online.
Thanks for coming online. Wait, hold on. DGL Rigio? Pilrigio? What's up, man? Oh, we also had Orserhat come online about an hour ago. I missed that. It must have been while I was stepped away. Welcome, man. Dude, we're doing some hacky hacks. Let's see. So this should work. Actually, no, 8080 is going to be used because we're actually already using that for a reverse report. So we'll do 8888. Okay, cool. So this is now going to be listening for us to be able to do a little web dabby stuff. Let's come over here. Let's go back into our beacon. Wish I could clear this out and I could bring the beacon up a bit, make it easier to read. I know it kind of sucks having it there at the bottom. Let's see. Let's do this actually as a low priv user. We don't necessarily need the system shell. I'm going to try it though. Actually, no, we do want that because we're going to add a firewall. So we're going to tell it now is, and we're going to do it through PowerPick just to bust AMC's nuts. All right, so new net firewall, and for a display name, tell it this is 888 inbound, and then we got to give it direction. That'll be inbound. Yeah, it's not just inbound, it's inbound. Our protocol, TCP, and then we want to tell it to allow. I think that's it. Oh, we got to tell it what the port is, so it's local port 888. Sure I'm not missing anything here. I don't think I need to run. So what we're going to do, this is basically going to be a coercion attack. Let's see. So next thing we're going to do, so we need to trigger WebDAV to connect to us so we can do the relaying to LDAP to get delegated access to workstation 1. So let's do that. So we're gonna use sharp triggers for that. We'll go to our tools. Is that it? Sharp system triggers, that's it. And then we want to use sharp spool. There we go. Grab the release build of it. There we go. And then what we're going to do is... I actually don't know what we need to run for this. We're just going to run it, get the help command, see what happens. Oh, there we go. So we tell it what's the target IP and the listener IP, which we can also do a host name. So our target is going to be WKSTN TAC1. And then our listener is going to be WKSTN TAC2. But I think we have to also tell it what the port is, which this one had a weird port specification. No, I think this is how we have to run this. Let's check our... I think we need to do a reverse port forward on 8888. Nope, that's what I forgot to do. Knew I forgot something. I was like, the networking's not making sense. So we do reverse port forward. We do 8888 back to our local host, which in this case, local host is the team server. We'll run that. Nice. All right, cool. So now once that's up and listening, now we should be able to get a call back over to packet. Any luck? What this is, exit status 1722. Let's take a look at this tool. I'll make sure I've got the syntax right. So it's going to specify if we're using 64, which we should be. Let's double check that. Yep, so we're using 64-bit version. Perfect. And then let's see how we're going to parse the targets out here. Yeah. Do I have a typo in this? Nope. Yeah, workstation 2 at 8888. So what's happening here is we're making a RPC call. So there's a well-known name pipe that's going to exist whenever WebDAV's running. We're going to tell it, and this is the essence of all of these coercion attacks, tricking something into connecting to you to authenticate. What's going to happen here is it's going to connect, and then it's going to give it a piece of information and tell it, hey, by the way, you want to actually go change, in this case, a printer notification on that machine over there. Well, that's us, and then it's going to connect back to us, and we'll be able to relay that through NTLM Relay X. Yeah, so I think we've got the syntax correct. I'm going to try it one more time. Get the same error. I'm going to figure out it's a problem. Let's do the tried and true Just Google it, dumbass. Replication error 1722. Which that actually might be the expected output from this. Because coercion attacks are triggering something and they should actually fail most of the time. Not necessarily every time. Hey, there we go. We did get a callback. Nice. Badass. So, using some of our delegation attacks, what happened here is we tricked with that RPC call. We had Workstation 1, who we didn't have a shell on, call back to us on port 8888. That got forwarded to the team server. In fact, you know what? Got the iPad of knowledge that's been woefully underutilized tonight because we were digging in code too much. So here's the setup. We have our attack server. Let's call this our team server, right? And then this has a connection to Workstation 2. And then we've got Workstation 1 right here. So the team server has NTLM Relay X running, right? NTLM X is running on here. So what we're doing is we have Workstation 2. We've set up a listening port of 8888. So the first thing that we're going to do here is, and also what we've got is we have a SOCKS proxy from here going this way. And that's on port 1080, right? So what happens is we send the attack, right? We send the RPC call. That RPC call goes down and tells R2, hey, connect over to this web port. Well, that is a reverse ported port. It comes back over to 8888 on the team server. This allows NTLM Relay X to then catch it and then send that data over the SOCKS proxy back. What are you doing? This program is cool, except when it tries to like auto-fill in my lines. There we go. So this is basically the attack loop that we've made here. And so when this connected to 8888 and NTLM Relay X was listening for web connections to it, it was able to, again, do that multi-protocol kind of swapping, take the authentication, relay that to LDAP-S. Actually, once this came through, it actually didn't come to Workstation 2. It came down here to the domain controller. It came down to DC2 and LDAP-S. Once it was able to connect to LDAP-S, what we did is we registered a new computer on the domain, and then we delegated access from Workstation 1 to that new computer. That's what we're seeing right here. So we definitely need to make a note of this because this is critical information to have. Do that. Let's go to... Let's make sure we put this in our good old notes here. Like where we've got everybody else's authentication tokens, this is a vital piece of information to have, because then anytime we want to get access to Workstation 1, where our domain admin is logged in, we have a backdoor into there now. Nice to see someone else with an MS Shop day job doing this stuff. Gives me more hope for working on it next year. Yeah. Dude, Microsoft is blowing up. It was crazy because a lot of people were kind of like written off Microsoft, like, oh yeah, they're just kind of withering on the vine. And then over the last 4 years, they just gone all in on cloud, and now they're going all in on AI and just actually getting a lot accomplished. So Pale, it drives my coworkers crazy because when I was on a Windows laptop, I use a Mac for work now. I had 3 different text editors open. I had VS Code, I had Notepad++, and I had regular generic Notepad, on top of having OneNote also open. And it used to drive them bananas. Like, you just don't understand how I'm organizing this stuff. The stuff that I need to actually reference against other things goes in VS Code. The things that are standalone that I need to work on and keep just in case the computer crashes go into Notepad++. And then all the stuff that's kind of temporary, let's call it my own personal clipboard, goes into Notepad. and then the shit that's finally going to end up in the report goes in OneNote. So I had a flow down. It drove my coworkers bananas to watch me work. All right, cool. So now what we can do is actually we can use this, since we have the password, we can use Rubius to get us a connection. So let's do that. So we'll do this actually from, I think we could have actually done this attack from, no, we needed to do it from a system shell. So that way it would work as the machine account, right? Actually, no, I take that back. Because when we did the RPC call, it was forcing that machine to call back to us as I've done something similar to this before in a penetration test, and I used it to actually get a certificate to act as a domain controller. That was really fun. Essentially, and then I was able to DC sync down all the internal hashes. Dude, Notepad is the most badass text buffer. And I had this weird issue sometimes in our reporting engine when I was taking stuff out of OneNote to bring it over to the reporting engine. The built-in HTML formatting would be copied in there and it would break the reporting engine. So I would actually bounce it through Notepad to strip out all that extraneous HTML shit and then drop it over to the reporting engine. Let's do something here. All right, so let's do this. Let's execute assembly. Let's bring up Rubius. So we'll go to our tools. We're going to go to Rubius, wherever out there, Rubius. Damn it. Bin, release, Rubius. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to hash this. And we're going to give it our domain. So that's dev cyberbotic.io. And then we're going to give it what the username is, which our username is the PC name here. This LWT name. Copy that. This is, again, also where I was talking about having monitoring to see when new machines get joined to the domain is pretty important. Because you should be able to see, hey, this machine came on, but there's no, say, help desk ticket to say a new machine was being provisioned. That should be a red flag, something that just needs to go be validated and checked on. So let's drop that in there, and then let's give it it ups the user, and then we need to give it the password. There we go. Let's grab the password. I did. Oh, damn it. I did domaining. I didn't even put the colon here. There we go. There's our domain. I love Greenshot Pale. That's a great tool. A lot of my team members like... crap, what is that other tool? Snagit? I couldn't stand Snagit. I don't know what the deal was. Snagit just annoyed me. Let's take a copy of this. And then let's use so now we can use that service for you rev to self trick. Service for you to self attack, essentially. So let's use that, and then we can now use this stuff here to actually get our thing. So we're going to need the AES 256 here. We'll just grab that preemptively. And let's go run Rubius one more time. So we've got, all we did here is we just generated a list of the hashes as they'll appear in the domain. It just makes it easier for us to use them in some of the other tools. So let's go grab that. So then what we'll do now is we're going to use the S4U attack. Or function. Let's call it a function. It's a feature. Crap, you know what I should have done? I should have just left all this because a lot of this shit is going to be the same. we're just going to change this to AES 256. And then we're going to change hash to S4U. Because we do need the domain, we do need the user. And then we're going to tell it who we want to impersonate. So we're going to impersonate the user Nina Lamb. Because Nina is a domain administrator, so we want that. And then let's give it a no rep. Yep, I think that's everything. Let's try it. I haven't found a way to be faster than paint for red circle and arrows to show people click here and then here. Exactly. Oh, you know what we didn't tell? We didn't give it a service. What we're going to impersonate. So that's going to be MSD SSPN. We're going to tell it CIFS. Workstation 1. Dev.cyberbot. So we got to tell it what service we're going to basically authenticate against on Workstation 1. Why is it saying that? Because we don't need to supply the TGS. Oh, wait, did I misspell impersonate? Yeah, damn it. It's impersonate user, not impersonate. There we go. Service principal unknown. Oh, it's because did I typo this? Yeah, I left a C off there. You can't see it, it's behind me, but here. There we go. I left a C off the very end of the command. So it got the first part, but it couldn't complete it because it mismatched the name for the SPN. Awesome. So we also, if we were doing this, we'd want to actually go through and remove that fake computer account. This is great. I'm actually going to make a copy of this command. There we go. We'll copy this. This is just a minor twist on relaying anything that you can use a coercion attack on. So I've done this. The one I did... it's the only ADCS attack I've gotten to do against a client. And for that one, I actually used... Crap, what was the coercion attack I used? I want to say it was the distributed file system. So what happened is a lot of these systems, the reason why these coercion attacks were so bad in the beginning is because they didn't require authentication. Anybody unauthenticated could do this and then have a massive implication of taking over machine accounts and impersonating them. And then all those interesting privileges that come along it. So imagine if you impersonated a domain controller, then you got access to that. If you want to be a little bit more stealthy, you just impersonate a web server that has an unconstrained delegation on it, and then you can have a TGT for any user on the network. And it's slightly less, detectable in that case. Let's see. Let's grab this real quick. I want to grab this info for our notes. So this was in our pivoting notes. Here. Then we had front port vendor. Let's make a note of this. This was S4U to self proxy. That way I'll remember what this attack is. Badass. Let's see what else we have. I think that might be where we want to kind of stop it for the lab for tonight, just because the next thing we're going to get into is ADCS. And actually, we could kind of do like an intro to ADCS. ADCS is pretty cool. ADCS works like this. Whenever it's done correctly, basically ADCS, that is Active Directory Certificate Services. All this is a fancy way of saying this is a public key infrastructure for Active Directory. And it allows you to use the idea of public and private certificate keys to authenticate and get Kerberos tickets. That's what it's doing. So actually, it's not a bad idea. It's just the implementation of it, like so many things in Microsoft, had a lot of bugs in it. So there's a number of different escalations you can do with it. So for example, one of the basic ones is if you had a user set up where they could just request a certificate from ADCS, it actually wasn't validating that the user you were requesting it for was the user it came from. So you could talk about just, in this case, we could be Mr. Farmer and just request a certificate for Nina Lamb, and then bam, instant domain ad. And then a lot of the logging also wasn't in place when this first came out. That made it extra painful. So, but pretty much, yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. In fact, if y'all want to look at this, this is still the amazing work here. I'm going to drop this in chat. This is the white paper that was originally released by the guys over at Spectre Ops called Certified Pre-Owned. Let's see. I'm trying to think what we need. So there's a couple of steps we need to do in here. Actually, I'll tell you what, there is... What's the tool in here? So the way I actually learned how to do these, because I never read the white paper. I probably should, because I want to understand a bit more details to it. But I actually learned this by using the Certify tool. So there's a tool called Certify, which they released as part of this big research project to do all these abuses in there. Well, Certify is a Python implementation of it. Certify is C# by it. But one of the cool things about this is it has explanations of the different escalations and how to perform them listed out. So this is the one I was just talking about, escalation 1. It's when a certificate template permits client authentication and allows the enrollee to supply a subject alternative name. So this is the example here. So we can do a request for username John at local corp with this password. And then we just tell it, is it gonna let me scroll over? You're being annoying. We point it to where the CA is. And then we tell it what the vulnerable template is. So there's templates inside of ADCS that you use. And then we tell it where we want to actually, what UPN we want to use. And also which DNS server to use. Because this requires, it's working for Kerberos. So you've got to have all these FQDNs and DNS names set up in place right here. Right? So what this is, if we look at this example here, got a certificate with multiple identifications. So it had a user principal name administrator at corp.local. Right here, bam. So even though we authenticated as John, and John might be a low-level user, because this version of Windows was older in this example, it would be able to run and actually dump this out. This guy right here, LY4K, he actually also created a bunch of integrations with Bloodhound to be able to get ADCS info and put it into Bloodhound and use that as part of the attack chains. It was really cool. You had to use a specialized fork of Bloodhound I don't know if he's still doing that, actually. Let's see. Yeah, it outputs the Bloodhound versions here, but this is only supported on the forked version. Now, when did he update this? Because, oh, this is only updated 2 years ago. Okay, so it looks like he hasn't probably updated this because there was a massive update this past Black Hat for Bloodhound. They called it the Bloodhound Community Edition, and that was a massive rewrite. So I doubt he's updated this for that. I wonder if it supports it now, though. Let's go see. Bloodhound is a badass tool if you've never messed with it, by the way. Let's see. I don't think they put the documentation on here. I think we have to go actually read it. Let's see. Where's the RTFM? Come on. Maybe it's in the wiki? See it in here. Let's see. Bloodhound CE docs. Here we go. Now we're talking. Oh, here we go. So this is Bloodhound support. Here we go. Okay, cool. So they actually, looks like, and I'm not surprised by this, because essentially Bloodhound CE is the enterprise version of Bloodhound that they were selling, and that they just open sourced a lot of the functionality to it. So the fact they have the ADCS stuff in here is pretty cool. I don't want to, yeah, we're definitely not going into this tonight because ADCS is a bitch. There's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of caveats to how it's going to work. So we'll start up. We're gonna do that next stream. We're gonna go with like how to do the reconnaissance, the kinds of critical pieces of information you need to have. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and spin up notes for that real fast. Let's save our pivoting notes. Just save it, bro. Why? Why you bully me, Fiasco? Hey. There we go. But what the fuck was so hard about Control S? Thank you. Alright, let's get a new one. So let's go ahead and close out some of these. Let's do a new text file. So this one, we're going to save this as adcs.txt. There we go. So this is a really cool attack pattern. I enjoy the crap out of it because there's a lot of little intricacies with it that you can do. Why the hell is it doing Control S as save as? Not doing shift. Get it. This is the tool I was talking about here, Certify. And we should have that on our attack box. Let's double check. Be shocked if we didn't. Yep, there it is, right there. Bam. So Certify is what we're going to use to actually get the lay of the land, do all the triage and everything. Like I said, the Python version of that Certify works really well. I highly recommend checking out Empire/Starkiller since Cobalt Strike is expensive for home use. If they'll even sell it to you. Check out Gravwell 2. It's a Splunk killer that is shaping up. Oh, you know what? Actually, let's go see how Starkiller is actually doing right now. Starkiller C2. And if anybody doesn't know, PowerShell Empire was kind of a hot deal back in 2018, 2019, but then Microsoft really upped their game in as far as PowerShell logging and monitoring, and that's when AMZ got hooked into PowerShell. And for a while there, it killed PowerShell Empire. It was basically persona non grata, and it was just getting slammed by AMZ every opportunity. Well, then these guys, BC Security, took it over. And they've been working on it, and they released a new front end for it. So you don't just have the text interface, you actually have a front end web interface called Starkiller. And one thing I also love about it is it's written in Vue.js, and that's what I use to write the front end for Deimos. So, yeah, this is actually pretty fun. I've been meaning to go take a look at it again, but really, this next C2 I'm going to be tinkering around with is Mythic. This is again from one of the guys that is, I think he's still at SpectreOps. I don't recall. I don't think it was him that left. No, there's another guy I'm thinking of. Very smart guy. He actually just left TrustedSec, went to SpectreOps. But yeah, this is one of the guys over at SpectreOps, and he created this tool. And it's pretty sweet. It has lots of different moving pieces to it. It's another one of those ones you definitely want to RTFM because, again, it's got a lot of moving pieces to it. Their sponsor version and plugins are pretty neat. They have a sponsor version of PowerShell Empire. Yeah, I talked to him on Discord because he and I are in a couple of different Discord channels together. Oh, that's cool. Interesting. So. Interesting. So it uses a custom PyPy package and a custom Golang package. Very interesting. The Mythic Container PyPy package source code is available at Mythic Meta and is automatically installed. The package is responsible for connecting to RabbitMQ, syncing your data to Mythic, and responding to things like tasking, webhooks, and configuration updates. Okay, cool. Interesting. Yeah, here, I'll drop a link to this also in chat because it is pretty sick. So there's Mythic. Also, there's Bloodhound, just in case anybody wants it. And then I'll drop Starkiller also. Starkiller actually looks pretty cool. I might give this one another go too. So thank you for reminding me about it, Miniweek. Oh, you mentioned also GravWell, and you told me about GravWell before. We could pull that up. Because I like the idea of Splunk. I hate the idea of paying for Splunk. Glad services. Your unified observability and analysis platform. Do they have a free tier? Hey, they do. Cool. Limited to one indexer. Alright. Cool. You can ingest 13.9 gigabytes a day. That's pretty good. You know what? I bulk at this 24K a year for like the first edition coder, but that's below peanuts compared to Splunk. Splunk is hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Yeah, Mythic's a chunky boy. Mythic is thick. They should call it Mythic. Mythic. Hold on. There we go. That just looks like my thick, though. Yeah, what is this? This is my thick C2, baby. We're real good at penetrating networks. God. This is pretty cool. Let's see what the... Let's see what they say, like, when you compare it to Splunk. I don't want your damn email spam. Avoid the Splunk screw zone. This is great. I love it whenever marketing companies are ballsy and like not afraid to tell you how it is. That's why the Wendy's Twitter account is so popular. The Gravel guys are based out of Idaho. So you know there's not Silicon Valley clown noses. That's true, Pale Horse, though, because a lot of people did flee California, New York, Texas for Idaho. I don't know what was so special about Idaho. In fact, I happen to know a buddy that did move from California to Idaho personally. Good friend of mine. And so I don't know what the jump was for that. But I'm of the opinion that Silicon Valley actually needs to die. And the reason for that is because it betrays the whole idea of the internet. And that was that you could do anything from anywhere, right? And so by having this geographical lock where everybody's like, oh, we gotta be right here, that's not saying you hire the best talent. That's saying I only hire the best talent from here. I lived in Spokane for a while. Everything around me got jacked up because of these corn dogs in Seattle paying a hell of a lot of money for crack houses. Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately, it sucks for me because I live in Dallas, and Dallas was partially one of those, let's call them 2020 boom towns, where people were fleeing from the much more restrictive states to. And so Austin was a big recipient of that. And then Dallas was also a large recipient of it. Not nearly as much as Austin, though. Austin is actually shrinking. People are leaving Austin, going back to California. Which just shows to show people have very short-term memories. Like, there was a specific reason you left California, don't you remember? Yeah, Seattle, San Francisco, their economies are jacked. Speaking of Amazon, did y'all see this story?
User Asterion RL is online.
Asterion RL, nice. I got a real life vampire online. Hell yeah. Yeah, check this out. Not you seeing it. Let's check out the Verge here. Yeah, so Amazon closed their walkout stores, and this is the funniest damn thing ever. So the idea was you could walk into the store, identify yourself, and then take whatever you wanted to, and then leave the store, and they would just bill you for it, right? They would just charge you. You didn't have to go through checkout. Well, what happened here, I'm trying to see if the article talks about it. Let's see if they have it in here. Yeah, it doesn't mention, I don't think it mentions it in here, but essentially what was happening was they said they had like an advanced AI system that was like checking stuff with RFID tags and also like, to know what to charge you for. It turned out that was just like a 1,000-person workforce in India that was reviewing footage. That's what it was. Asterion, hacker vampire. Love that idea. Amazon also added palm readers to Whole Foods after they bought it. Like, I want Bezos to have my fucking palm print. Yeah, no kidding. No. Palm prints is where I draw the freaking line. My fingerprints, because of a lot of jobs that I've held in the past, are already in far too many databases for my care. So let's look at this gravel thing again, because this actually sounds pretty promising, and I'm always looking for things to tinker with in my home lab. You know, with my excessive amounts of free time. So Gravel is the most flexible full-stack analytic program that hosts all the technical capabilities of the biggest competitor, which is Splunk. We created the data. We were created the data agent understanding personalities, unlimited, and they focus. It looks like they focus on especially for cybersecurity. Our platform ingests everything and comprises nothing. Splunk can't say that. Additionally, we support a wide range of customers with data analytics at scale with predictive pricing. Make us not only the most flexible, but most affordable solution. Okay, that's pretty cool. I actually did not realize how big of a little small niche in coding is for predictive pricing. Like looking at, ordering trends and realizing, hey, yeah, we should lower our prices here. We should raise our prices here. That's a big deal. Sir, I'm doing really well, man. We ran into some more roadblocks, and I don't want to bog down with them on the lab. So we were doing an attack called NTLM Relay. In case you're not familiar with it, it's a really cool way to do some sleight of hand in network protocols and Windows networks that allow you to, if you can trick somebody to connect to you, you can man in the middle of the connection and impersonate them on whatever the target system is that you choose. And so we were doing that, but we were doing it not from the perspective of being in the network. We had a computer in the network and we had another system outside it, and we were trying to tunnel that traffic back and forth over a command and control channel. So it was a lot of fun. We were trying to see if we could do it. I finally realized that the simpler thing to do would have just been, because I forgot about the delegate access and shadow credential options. If we can trick this to connecting to us, then we could have just, instead of trying to get the actual command to run with NTLM Relay X, we could have just had it do shadow credentials for us and then use that with WMI exec to go impersonate the other characters. So a lot of fun just learning a little bit of these intricacies, because these are all attacks I've done intimately. I've never done them over a C2 network though. I've been a penetration tester for 6 years. I've been in IT for 14 years. Southern company is dumping crap loads of money into them to get away from their Splunk licensing. Damn. Dude, I set up a small Splunk cluster at my first job out of university, my first blue team position, and even that was hella expensive. And it was for the county that I lived in, so then I felt really bad about spending the money, because I'm like, this is my tax money. Microsoft shifted partner support to India during COVID. It's as bad as you can imagine. Yeah, I've worked with plenty of teams from India and Malaysia, and yeah, it's basically they think that they can get quality by just throwing more bodies at something, and that's not how that works. It doesn't have MITRE attack coverage. You have to bring your own detection engineering right now. Okay, this would be interesting to kind of tinker with though. So many platforms like Splunk are not data agnostic, subjecting customers to cost increases for data conversion or the inability to query data from whatever they want. So is this using, I wonder what it's using in the back end. Is it using something like an Elastic setup? So our competitors fail to offer node-based pricing, basing their pricing model on traditional ingestion-based pricing, a model that has proven more costly in the long run. Well, no shit, because the amount of data we generate, and that now companies are being required to by law and by insurance, the amount of data they've got to collect and retain is fucking huge. It's a ton of data, and it isn't even for a small company. For a small company, you could be doing easily with a 100-person workforce, easily a terabyte a day. Okay, cool. So this also has a focus on OT and SCADA, which is really interesting. Actually, yes, I have been trying to get my team into doing more OT and SCADA testing. It's really difficult because you have a couple of issues with that. One is you got to have a client that actually has a testing area that approximates their setup. I only know of one company that had that. It was an oil and gas company in Oklahoma, and it was legit. They had an entire a section set up that was an approximation of what they have on all of their oil rigs. It was so cool. They're the only one I've seen who took that effort to do that, and so we were able to go through and test on that and look at it. Oh no, correction, we weren't. I was trying to get that contract. I don't think it ended up going through. That's pretty cool. I wonder how big they are. I'd go look on LinkedIn, but you have to log in, and I'm not logging into LinkedIn. Let's look at their use cases. Threat hunting. Actually, threat hunting as a use case would be highly beneficial because if you had something like this, as opposed to, like, say, Kibana set up in a network, then you could use that to test your IOCs. That's what we've also been doing. Have you ever done some bug bounty research in your free time, or you only do pen testing professionally? I only do it professionally, and because when I try to do bug bounties, it felt like I was just working more. It just felt like more work. So when I want to do something technical that is not work related, I actually like developing coding stuff. So developing offensive tooling, customizing offensive tooling. That's probably something we're going to do here maybe before we start the RTO2. So we're going through the course we're going through right now is the Red Team Operator course from 0 Point Security. And this course is really cool. It is fantastic, and it's also dirt cheap for what you're getting from it. You're getting a ton for the price of a little. And so there's also an upgraded version of it called the RTO2, which is more advanced and has to do with a lot more of being stealthy and evading things. But there's a smaller section in there about creating CI/CD frameworks, or not frameworks, but basically implementing it. And I've had some ideas for some tooling I would like to be able to throw into a CI/CD pipeline and have it spit out an OPSEC safe version of. So I'm really looking forward to that. I was thinking about using Gravwell in my home lab. Yeah, me too, actually, because what I'd like to do is, actually, I would like to have it set up and then have like different logs from my various sensors around the house ingest into it and just see if I can get some telemetry with that. Because like I've got a couple different routers and switches, and I think my computer is actually the only Windows computer in the house. My wife uses a Mac. They've got to be doing some kind of elastic on the back end if they're doing full text searches and not just like token searches. I'm surprised they don't have something in here saying, we do AI. So Gravwell's customizable playbook templates encapsulate past threat hunts, providing structured paths for future investigations. Oh, cool. These interactive guides with Markdown and embedded search templates offer analysts consistent and effective strategies for identifying threats. Okay, that's pretty badass. I'm all about reproducibility like that. So what does the download look like? You just downloading a package? Community edition. Monitor your side hustle project or avoid expensive tools. Keep tabs on how many freeloaders are using your Wi-Fi. Test drive pre-built kits. Monitor swarms of systems. Analyze network traffic and DNS to figure out how much of your ISP bill is being spent serving you ads that you didn't even want. Thankfully for me, not much. Let's go Pi-hole. Oh, cool. It'll actually do Zeek and Suricata data. That's cool. This is actually one that I'm actually planning to redo my entire home network to isolate off all the IoT stuff. It is kind of isolated right now, but I really want it to be in a more isolated, controlled setup. But my home infrastructure is about 7 years old at this point. It's time for a refresh, and it's starting to show its age with some of like the weird issues I see. Catch your kids playing video games when they're supposed to be sleeping. I just don't let them have the fucking iPad. You know, amazing. I actually pay attention to them. We don't have Google Analytics installed. We don't know what searches you're running. Nice. Awesome. It's pretty badass. So it looks like you got to submit an email for a free license. I want to know what the download is like because I want to know, like, can you develop customized mini week? Can you develop customized dashboards for this? Like, if I wanted to make my own threat hunting flow with this, or have it like spawn certain commands, like say, let's say I wanted it to do nmap and like go collect a list of all the IPs in the network. 99% sure you can. Badass, because I got an idea. I got an idea for something I might tinker around with on this. It's another idea I've had, and if I can add in some cool stuff to it, I could actually just piggyback that idea onto this instead of having to go reinvent the wheel. Pretty sweet. I like that. These kind of things are cool. Well, all right, y'all. I think that's probably where we're gonna wrap it up tonight. That was fun. So, okay, we found a couple of interesting things about the internal mechanics of Impacket and where we're going to go through next. The ADCS stuff. Oh, wait, today's Monday. So we're actually going to get to ADCS on Wednesday. Tomorrow night, we're doing Grey Hack with Salty Demon 86. My boy, who just is an awesome guy. He's wanting to learn more about cybersecurity. So we're playing the game Grey Hack over on, it's available on Steam. It's a great little system. If you play the multiplayer version, it's basically like a hacking MMO. It's a lot of fun. So we'll be doing that tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, we're going to start hitting ADCS again. And the kind of stuff we're going to cover is like, you have to kind of know what your certificate authorities are, what templates are available in the certificate authorities and how they're misconfigured. And then basically look at how you can use those. And a lot of times, if you can get an NTLM relay with that, you can do a lot of damage. So it's a pretty cool thing. It's a very deep subject. Just looking at the syllabus, we're only going to get a cursory inspection onto it. So let's find somebody we can raid out to. So let's check and see who's on InfoSec streamers. The Black Hat knock is up, but they were kind of boring, actually. Oh, we're not logged into Twitter, so let's do it. We can set up a raid. Let me see what Midnight Sirens do. I tell you, let's go raid Meowpure again, because she's over here she does game reverse engineering, and it's really cool. She's reversing like old x86 games, and that's a really awesome skill set, reverse engineering. I enjoy the crap out of it. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna go raid her. All right, y'all. Y'all have a badass night. Y'all are great. I enjoy all the conversations we get to have. We'll be back tomorrow night with Grey Hack, teaching Salty the Black Hat arts, and then we're going to be hitting it again Wednesday with the Active Directory Certificate Services. Hale, you have a good night. Mini-Wheat, you have a good night. Asterion, my hacker vampire dude, you have a fantastic night. I will catch you all up on tomorrow night. Yep, same bat time, same bat channel. Peace. By the way, there's a new Cookie Monster emote. So when you get into Meowpure's chat, drop the Cookie Monster. Well, I thought it was going to go fast. It says it's got like a minute till we can raid. There we go. All right, it's going now. All right, everyone. Y'all have a fantastic night. Peace.